welcome to episode 133 of Marketing Without the Marketing, the podcast where I try to teach you everything that I know about content marketing in short 10-minute snippets, if I can. It's always a challenge. My name is Michael Bosey. Really happy that you can join me. I'm your host, and I've been promising this for a while to do a deep dive on SEO. And as I mentioned in the last episode, I feel like I've got a slightly different take on SEO from what I see out there with other practitioners. And I want to do a deep dive. I want to go, I've got a lot of episodes written already and structured, and I'm working on building a course out of this. But what I want to try to do over the fall season is to give you nice and tight episodes, try to keep them to 10 minutes if I can, and give you the strategy and how to apply it. Now, I have a little different approach to SEO, as I mentioned, and it's very much in line with my ethos around content strategy in general, and that is that SEO is a writing problem, not a tech problem. Now, yes, you need to know a little bit of what's happening on the back end, behind the scenes in WordPress and all that, but that's absolutely not the most important part of SEO. SEO, really, when you boil it down, is about two people connecting, a teacher and a learner. And you are the teacher. And of course, your potential customer is the learner. So it's a way to answer questions and teach things that people want to know. So as you can imagine, this all starts with really good quality content that does just that. But from there, you want to give Google some cues about what you're teaching exactly, right? So think about this. SEO is not a trick or a hack or a way to game Google into thinking that you're bigger than you're not. It's no tricks. Right? Not only is that not the right thing to do, but actually, as we'll get into later in this series, it can actually put your business at risk. SEO is not about page views or site traffic or ranking. And obviously, look, those things matter, but we want to be sure that we're measuring the right things. For instance, what good is site traffic if the user doesn't know what the next step is to take, right? What good are page views if no one is actually buying your product or signing up or doing what you want them to do? Now, there are a lot of nuances to SEO. You can't just do SEO once to your site, set it and forget it, and that's all, right? It's an ongoing set of activities that help develop your site into a body of work that has some authority to it. And look, I can't explain my approach all in one lesson here, right? It'll take me a little bit of time to lay this all out for you. So I hope that you'll stick with me here as I go through a whole set of lessons on all the different nuances that are in my approach to SEO. Just to orient you, though, let's look at a top-level overview of how I think about SEO. To me, there are 5 key factors involved: people, keywords, your website, measurement, and iteration. Let's start with people. People is the who you're trying to attract, who you're trying to teach. If the answer is anyone and everyone, then immediately you're doing this wrong, right? That's not a strategy. You need to get very, very focused on those people in particular that you want to serve. Really key part of SEO. Next is keywords. Keywords are your connection point between teacher and learner. So when you do your research on keywords, what you're trying to uncover is the actual language of your customers. And then when applying those keywords to your site, to your blog, to social, to email, to all of that, you want to do this with a strategic spread, as I would call it. Spread your keywords and be clever about this so that you can cast a wide net. You're still focusing on this particular group of people, but you still want to cast a wide net with keywords so that you can attract them. Next up, you need a place for the people to connect with your content via these keywords, right? That's your website. And the big question with your website really should be, what value can you deliver? And I'll be getting into this in a later segment on SEO and the user pathway. This I call the 4 Ps: pre-visit, the present moment, the pathway, and then the most important one, purchase. And you really need to have everything ready in advance to carry the user on this pathway. Again, I'm going to get into that in a later segment in a lot more detail. But we want to make sure that we get your website set up properly, not just to get people in the door, but actually to give them something to do after they're there, okay? And then, of course, we want to be watching and observing, and that all falls under the category of measurement. So in other words, all the stuff that you're doing to activate SEO, how did it perform? There's a great quote by Dan Taylor of The Next Web: "If you're not measuring, you're not marketing." And I'm going to get into this very deeply in a segment on Google Analytics in particular, so that you know how to use the tool set to observe and be able to determine just how well your content is performing, how well it is doing at attracting people. And then, of course, what do we do with that? Like, once we've measured it, we have to iterate. We have to get better at it. We have to do something with the data that we're measuring. We have to figure out, okay, here's what's happening. Now what can I change to make this better? Or, oh, wow, this thing is working really well. We're not going to change that, but we're going to change another factor instead to continually improve the process, improve the keywords, improve all the stuff that SEO is doing for you. All right, so that's a top-level overview, looking at people, the keywords, your website, measuring it, and then iterating. Obviously, we're going to want to do a much deeper dive into each of these things and all of the different factors that go into SEO, and we'll do that in the following segments to come. Now, throughout the fall, I'm going to be doing this series on SEO, episode after episode, and I'm using this thought process to structure a complete online course about SEO. And if you want to sign up to be notified when it's ready, go to this page, controlmousemedia.com/SEO-basics, and you can sign up to be notified when it's ready. This is going to be a part of my Core Concepts of Content Strategy series of courses. And the idea here is that's going to let you focus in on exactly what you want to learn, or, take the whole set to get up to speed on content strategy. And, I'm going to get way deeper into using Google Analytics, really focusing on the key highlights of Google's over 200 ranking factors. In that, unlike this podcast, I'll be able to do video walkthroughs showing you how to set things up, my methods for doing all this stuff, templates, checklists, all of that. Look forward to having that as a sort of one-stop resource for all things SEO for all types of small businesses like yours. So I look forward to continuing this series. Hope that you'll get a lot out of it. I've got a lot to teach on this. And as always, I really appreciate you being here, appreciate your attention, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.